History is often told through battles, victories, empires rising and falling. But some of the darkest moments in human history are not defined by who won. They are defined by how long people could survive. Sieges are not just wars. They are slow-motion disasters, where entire cities are cut off from food, water, and hope. And when that happens, human survival reaches a terrifying limit. In some of the worst sieges ever recorded, people didn't just starve. They ate animals that should never be eaten. They boiled leather. And in extreme cases, they ate their own shoes. This is the story of humanity at its breaking point. 7 of the harshest sieges in history.
The Siege of Leningrad, 1941 to 1944. During World War II, Nazi Germany surrounded the Soviet city of Leningrad for almost 900 days. Nearly 3 years. No escape. No supply routes. Winter temperatures dropped far below freezing. Food supplies collapsed almost immediately. People began eating wallpaper paste, glue, and sawdust mixed with flour. Then animals disappeared. Then pets. And finally, anything made of leather became food. Shoes. Belts. Even leather bags were boiled to create something barely edible. Over 1 million people died during the siege. But the city never surrendered.
2. The Siege of Baghdad, 1258. When the Mongol Empire reached Baghdad, it was one of the greatest cities in the world, a center of knowledge, culture, and power. But when the siege began, everything changed. The Mongols cut off water from the Tigris River. Food supplies disappeared quickly. The city collapsed into chaos. Historical accounts describe unimaginable destruction. Libraries burned. Bodies filled the streets. Survivors faced starvation so severe that anything organic became survival material. Baghdad, once the intellectual heart of the Islamic world, was reduced to ruins.
3. The Siege of Constantinople, 1453. The Byzantine capital faced one of the final blows of the medieval world. The Ottoman army surrounded the city, cutting off all supplies. Inside the walls, food became extremely scarce. People ate horses, then dogs, then plants from the ground. Hunger spread through every district. Even churches struggled to provide relief. When the city finally fell, centuries of empire ended in a single moment. But the suffering inside the siege had already destroyed its people long before the final attack.
4. The Siege of Jerusalem, 70 AD. One of the most devastating sieges of the ancient world. The Roman army surrounded Jerusalem during a major revolt. As time passed, food inside the city disappeared completely. Historical writings describe extreme famine. People fought over scraps. Entire families collapsed from starvation. In desperation, survivors consumed anything available. Even items never meant for food became survival tools. The city's fall marked one of the darkest chapters in ancient history. 5. The Siege of Sarajevo, 1992 to 1996. In modern history, few sieges lasted longer than Sarajevo. During the Bosnian War, the city was surrounded for nearly 4 years. Snipers controlled the hills. Shelling was constant. Food and medicine were extremely limited. Residents created survival routines just to stay alive. They used makeshift gardens, traded goods secretly, and risked their lives for basic supplies. At the worst moments, people survived on extremely limited rations. The city became a symbol of endurance under constant danger. 6. The Siege of Mafeking,
1899 to 1900. During the Second Boer War, the town of Mafeking was surrounded for 217 days. Food shortages became severe. Horse meat became common. Then, animals disappeared completely. Citizens were forced to ration everything. Even pets and working animals were no longer safe. Despite desperation, the defenders held out until relief arrived. But the hunger left a lasting memory of what isolation can do to a population. 7. The Siege of Paris, 1870 to 1871. When Prussian forces surrounded Paris, the city was completely cut off. Food shortages escalated quickly. People ate zoo animals from the Jardin des Plantes, elephants, camels. Even rare exotic animals were consumed. Bread became extremely scarce. Rationing reached extreme levels. Paris, a global center of culture and luxury, transformed into a city of survival.
These sieges are not just historical events. They are warnings. They show what happens when humans are pushed beyond normal survival limits. When cities are isolated, when food disappears, when hope becomes the only remaining resource. From Baghdad to Leningrad, from Jerusalem to Sarajevo, the pattern is always the same. At first, life continues normally. Then shortages begin. Then desperation. And finally, survival at any cost. Even leather shoes, even things no one should ever eat. Because in a siege, the enemy is not just the army outside. It is time, hunger, and human endurance itself.